Hey guys, I just had an epic trip on the San Pedro cactus teacher plant. Woo! That was intense. So I thought, let's go talk to Josh. This podcast is about consciousness, plant medicines, microdosing, and just overall things you should know if you're considering working with plant medicines. So enjoy.
Are you ready to get woke? Welcome to the Woke as podcast with your host, Alex Lazarev.
I don't even know where to begin.
You look like somebody who came back from World War III.
Yeah, it was intense. Well, look at this. I had a scratch here. Look at this. Bruise there, black eye. It was a fucking battle, man. But, we were there and, you know, we had certain parts of the trip is what you expect, talking about life and integrity and what we're doing and women, you know, just have really insights on, like, what the fuck we're doing here.
It's recorded now.
It's recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was good. It was some good conversations and stuff. The first part of the trip, we were really just talking about, you know, the knowledge that we are both essentially Christ consciousness reincarnated in human form, that we've always known this, that me and him both have exactly the same knowledge, self-knowledge of why we're here on the planet, which is, you know, speaking from my perspective, I'm the bringer of light. I'm that which shines light in the darkness. I'm the awakener. And I've always known and had visions of me waking up huge amounts of people snapping out of the fucking matrix. That's what I do. That's what I am. I am the spirit of revolution. Every moment I'm alive, every breath I take, everyone I speak to, I'm only seeking to do one thing, to wake them up out of this dream. I can't do there is nothing else for me to do, and there never will be, because that's why I incarnated, and I've always known it. Every distraction, everything that's ever happened in my life up to this point, that is not that, it's just been human pain, human bullshit, confusion, all that, you know, all the stuff we all have, because we're all human, we're all fucked. To some degree, we're all fucked up. But who I am, in essence, ever since I was a child, I've always known. I'm here to wake people the fuck up. So, and he's exactly the same. I mean, when he talks about who he is, what he is on the planet, same. We might as well be the same. We might as well be twins. We're exactly here for the same fucking reason, to liberate humanity from this fucking matrix bullshit. That's it. So we were talking about that, and also, you know, the importance of living that truth, you know, in our own lives, and really having that love and you know, as it relates to having our own shit together. And he was like, oh, this is all really good that we're God and everything, but how do we relate to fucking women and soulmate and all this shit? So we were talking about this fucking, you know, stuff.
So you started talking about women?
There was some about that, yeah. But fundamentally, we just realized it's really important that we, as men who are leading those into the light, we really have to have our own shit together. We have to be 100% living the truth, you know. We have to be living the truth, breathing the truth, living it, being that example of light for others. If we're going to really lead humanity into this new consciousness, we can't be fucked up in any way. We really have to be living the truth, and that's really what I got from him, was just the truth. Like there's like, what is truth? All of it. No fucking bullshit. What is truth? What is reality? So there was a lot of talk about that, and at one point, like, we're there talking, and I really feel a lot of like, woo, like I'm really fucking woo, you know, tripping balls. But more so, and this is different from other San Pedro or any other experiences, I knew that a shift was going to happen, a big heart opening. I could feel there's a shift it needs to take place for me, a bigger shift. I just was aware of it. And I kind of felt like a charging of my heart from the nature around me, like it was literally charging me, like with energy, and I felt there was going to be some sort of explosion.
You were in nature, right?
Yeah, it was in nature. Yeah, we were just literally in fucking nature, just on a blanket. Mm-hmm. Big tree, beautiful. And I had this awareness that, like, my heart is being charged, and it's weird. It's like I kept. This is the kind of part that might freak people out. I had knowledge coming to me of certain quotes and stuff that Jesus said, and things from the Bible were just flowing in me, and I was just aware of things and aware of. It was just there, like the Christ consciousness presence was in me, and I felt it coming into me more and more. And at one point, I was kind of like, I don't know, I just was freaking out because I had so much power and shit just coming into me. And I remember at one point I looked up, and the sun shone up from between a tree, and it shone right down on me. And I looked up, and I knew in one moment, you know, something is happening. And I looked, and I locked eyes with the sun, and I couldn't look away, dude. It was like noon or 1 p.m. It was really bright sun. I couldn't look away. I locked eyes with the sun, and I knew something was literally entering my body. And a Bible quote came up into me, that something that was like, and the light hath shined down on me, and I shall be reborn. And I just was flipping out. And at some point after that, it was just really, really intense, and I just lost my shit and literally left the body. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm dying. I've been through this before. I'm just going to go with it. No problem. I believe in the Lord. I don't give a shit. I'm going to check out. And I literally thought, okay, I'm checking out here. I'm going. And I thought I was dead. And then, boom, back in the body. And I was like, holy fucking shit, I'm still here. And I look at him. He's like, yeah, dude, you're still here. And then for the next, like, 30, 40 minutes, it was literally like I felt like I had died and come back, and everything I was doing was new. Like we went to the river, I put water on my face. It's like I'd never touched water before. It was really weird being in the body. I felt really freaked out, like touching things and the fact that I'm here on the planet. Everything was fucking new and weird, and I was really shaken. Like I literally just came, dude. I fucking died and was reborn, literally by that river. And he and as he described it, he was just like, I watched you die and come back. Yeah, I died and came back, dude. I just checked out and back in again.
So how
it
is
was
it
fucking
now?
amazing, actually. I was shaken for the first few days, really, because it's really dying and coming back is fucking intense, man. So I was really kind of fucked up. But during the trip, I felt tremendous amounts of power and clarity on me and who I am and all that stuff. And now that I'm just processing it, dude, I know that I am God. I am God. I created all this, and I'm just here, you know, to do what I'm here to do. Thanks, Poopsic.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's another level of, like, before it was like, yeah, you know, I incarnated, blah, blah, blah. No, dude. No. I am that which has created all of this, everything. And I am all of it. And I've seen it. I've seen it all. It's all me. And I, you know, and I came down to spread the fucking love, dude. But yeah, and I just feel tremendous power that I can do anything completely in alignment with God's will. Anything. Like there's no limitation to that which I can do, achieve, create.
What do you mean with
nothing?
in alignment with God's will?
Well, really, it's in alignment with my heart. But it's the same thing. What do you think the fucking heart is? It's just your pathway to God. So yeah. So it just following my flow and doing what I know I need to do. That what I am doing. There is no limitations on anything in any way, and there never were. There never was, and I can literally just see the fucking matrix for what it is. It's just clear. It is what it is, and within it, as you recognize it to be a dream that we've created, all of us, we can move through it and create anything out of it for ourselves, and we can completely transform even this 3D reality for all beings if we work together as God, which we are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's a fucking knowing that was not there before. It is a knowing. I know I'm it. I know I am that. I know I'm all this. All of it. Mm-hmm. And I can do anything in this, even in this limited form. There is nothing which I cannot do if I set my will and my intention, and if it's aligned with true heart alignment, real fucking coming from the right place, I will not be stopped. My will is God's will. Without any exaggeration, my will is the will of God. That is what I am. There's nothing other than God's will in everything that I do. That is what I'm doing. There's no other way to put it. And I literally feel I have the protection of the kingdom of heaven is at my back. I know it.
Who is attacking you? Who do you need protection from if you are everything?
Well, that becomes the question. And it might be, I mean, again, I'm not even thinking of that. Do you see what I mean?
Saying it.
Sure. No, there is no protection necessary.
Yeah.
There's no protection necessary. Mm-hmm. But support, I guess, is a better word for it. Support, you know, the strength. You know what I mean? To work, the strength to lead, the strength to do what is necessary to really bring about heaven on earth will take a lot of effort, a lot of work.
No, well, God doesn't manifest through effort.
No, but 3D God does. And right now, until I get to the next level where I'm not 3D, it takes effort in 3D land. Yeah.
But you just said you are everything. Now you're saying you're not 3D. You're 3D, but you're not the other thing.
Well, I'm all of it.
Yeah, so...
But I act primarily, not even primarily, partially through 3D realms. And if I'm going to be interacting with other people...
Are you sure?
To a degree, yeah. To a degree. But not 100%, for sure. For sure, there's so much going on in other dimensions that we some of it we can be aware of, some of it we can't be aware of. But 3D, which is where I exist currently, planet Earth, 2017 3D, you know, to do what I feel I need to do, I have to interact with other 3D people, and certainly a lot of people who are only in 3D and are not in other, other levels of consciousness.
Is that possible?
What?
To be a human being and not being on the other levels of consciousness as well?
It is possible to not be aware of those levels.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
are there, but you're not aware of it.
That's right. That's right. So a lot of what's happening to me is just gaining that awareness. You know what I mean? Just gaining that awareness.
Waking other people up so they realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hear a mixed language right now. I hear you say you are everything, and yet you need protection, and you say you are everything, but you're right now only in 3D, and you can do anything, but it's a lot of effort. And so I hear opposing sentences where, because God does not act through effort. God is effortlessness, and if you look at the great yogis, they are effortless at all times, and they manifest many things in the third dimension without effort. And so it tells me that until we all are completely, fully awakened, we still have effort involved in our actions. And as long as we still have a certain level of identity fixed into the third dimensional reality, that consciousness will also be speaking when we talk. So there will be the language of you deep inside, you know we are all one, and you're sitting here talking to yourself, but yet the mind very easily, quickly jumps into another perception of reality where it's you and me. And then the language starts to evolve accordingly in that direction. So what you just said in the beginning, doing your journey, your trip, I fully resonate with all that. My heart resonates with that. And when you keep on talking, what I'm looking for is, when is the I sense of self coming in now? Because as soon as it comes in, the limited thought belief systems starts to manifest themselves as well, such as I need protection, it takes effort, I can do everything but, you know, and I am everything but I am also only 3D, right? And now I have to fight and effort. And another thing also, you know who else said that I bring you light? Lucifer. Lucifer was God's greatest angel. And he said, see, I bring you light. I am a light bringer. I bring you light. What is he saying really? He's saying, you are not light. I am. And I will bring it to you. That is the beginning of the great deception, right? You cannot bring light to people. All you can do is to make them aware of the light that they already have. You're not really doing anything. It's only awareness.
But if your consciousness or your words or your actions create that they recognize they are light, and they start being that, are you not the bringer of light?
No, you're just the bringer of
the rememberer of
you're
light.
Bringer of the good news that they have always been.
So I have to change the sentence, bringer of light, to bringer of the good news.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got good news. You're the light, bro.
Yeah. That's why the enlightenment process is called a realization. You're not gaining anything. You're not getting something from your guru, your teacher. He's not giving you shit. He's just sitting there reminding you of who you are. What really happened is you just start remembering. So it's a realization. He's a realized being.
Yeah.
And so the thing is with the light, nobody is bringing anybody light. Even the darkest people on this planet, they still are full of light. They're made of light. Even quantum physics would tell you that. They are light, but they have just decided to completely turn their back on it, reject it, diminish it, and some even consciously worshiping the darkness. But if we are all one and everything is God, it's all light, including the so-called darkness. What else happened? You have a blue eye. Tell me about that.
I mean, there's nothing to tell. I mean, I asked Greg, I was like, dude, did you see me, what? Like, how long did I check out? Did I fall? What happened? And he said, yeah, I passed out, like stopped moving just for, a couple of seconds, really, a few moments. But I think I just, at some point just rolled or fell. I don't think he's even sure either. But I was definitely rolling around, on the ground and shit. And at one point I stopped moving, and he was like, and then, boom, I came back in, stood up, and was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
How is he doing?
He's doing insanely well. He's basically just, we recorded, you could listen to the recording. He basically just said that his experience was when he was looking at me, and I had the same, I didn't tell you about this part. It's a whole thing that happened. So basically, after I checked out and came back in the body, we went down to the river. It was really intense. He's like, man, that was really intense. What the fuck just happened? And he's just like, I think you died, dude, and came back. I'm like, that's what I think. And we go down to the river, and I'm just putting the water in my face, and it's really grounding, and we're just in this great river, and I'm like, oh, this is good. But it was so intense. I was just like, it's like I'd never been in a river before. It's like I'd never breathed. It's like I never. It was really. I had this really intense, kind of almost feeling in my temples, like my temples were kind of like in some other planet or something in there. It was really fucking trippy. And it felt like I wasn't fully really on the planet at all. I was just sort of there. It was fucking weird. Maybe I took too much of a dose, man. But but we're in the river, and what happened was after I kind of checked back in the body, and we're just there, and I'm in the crouching position, and I'm just putting water on my face, and I'm just there, and he's there. He was just naked, he's there, and I'm looking at this fucking guy, and I could see him fully. For what he was, I saw other incarnations of him, and I saw him with tattoos all the way down, long hair, and as this native tribes leader, like a really powerful, like I knew he led thousands of men to war and to their death. He was like a great leader, and I said to him, dude, you could walk into any native peoples anywhere and just ask them, look at my eye and know who I am. And they would welcome him as a brother because he's such a high level in terms of native, that lineage. I could just see it and feel it. I knew it. And it was new to him. He's like, really? I never knew. I'm just like, dude, any native people, walk in and ask them, look at me and tell me who I am. And they'll take him in. And he was like, okay, that's interesting. But I also just saw his face merging into like this kind of demon thing and like a woman and like all these different fucking incarnate, all of it just like so fast you can't even keep track of it.
He's been in Tibet as well.
Dude, so I saw that, and so I was looking at him going, I see who you are, and he's like, dude, I see who you are. And when I asked him, he just said he saw the same thing, everything, all life, ever, all beings, all fucking humans, like infinite amounts of just all at once, flashing so quickly you can't even focus in on one. It's just all of it. And so he just saw me as all of it, everything that is, everything that was, all that is.
Oh, so okay, cool.
Like a complete everything picture download, and also by the river. I had a really a knowing also that he's my brother and that we've done this all before many times over and over and fought together. And I when I was speaking to him about this, it wasn't my voice. It was it was like something was speaking through me. I was like, oh, I've been waiting for you a long time. It was literally like out of a fucking movie. Seriously, it wasn't me. If we were recording it, it would freak you the fuck out. It wasn't my voice. And I remember just being like, dude, I've been waiting for you my whole life. You're my fucking brother, and we've been brothers forever, and we've been fighting this battle forever, and we're just doing it again this lifetime like we always have. And he knew it too. He's just like, yeah, we've always been doing this. Always, this is what we do. And it was a complete surety that we are soul brothers, and we always have been, and we're back again.
That's awesome.
It was fucking intense, dude. Yeah.
So you found your brother, man.
It certainly felt like it at the time, but again, if that it just simply means that he is all and I am all, and that of course then, as we're both men now, then that allness that we're tuning into is the brotherhood aspect, because we've been brothers millions, billion, infinite amounts of times incarnate on the planet. So of course that is true. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does it mean that my specific incarnation and his specific one throughout time? I don't know. Maybe, or maybe just that he's everyone and I am. So of course he's my fucking brother, and so are you, and so is fucking everyone. We're very conscious of it and aware of it and feeling it and knowing it in that at that time. Yeah.
Awesome. How much did you take?
Too much. Well, I showed you what you said. Mm-hmm. What you said.
Was that too much?
He took this much. I took a bit less consciously because the piece I had was a bit fatter, so maybe I took a little less on purpose. Mm-hmm. But about that. It was all good. It was the only part that was a bit much was the fact that I felt like I was losing my shit, and I'm going to check out of the body, and I did that. But that was only an really intense, maybe 40 minutes of like checking out and then coming back in and being a little freaked out. But I've been through much worse on ayahuasca. I've been on such brutal fucking shit that was like, that's not going to affect me, dude. I just been through so much worse. So I could just take the good and be like, cool, that little intense part, no problem. I'll take less next time. No big deal. But
You guys gonna do it again?
I spoke to him about it, and he's super down for doing super low dose. Just taking, this much. Mm-hmm. Super small and just sitting and working, talking, doing normal stuff. So I think we're down to do that. I think I'm had enough of huge trips for a while. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But like one like this much.
Then
awesome.
then I recommend you to prepare the San Pedro the same way you just did, and then dry it in the sun, and then powder it up in a blender, and then you have this dry powder, and you put it in a glass jar, and it will last forever.
Yeah. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna take either him or Isabel, and we're gonna go up to the mountain and bring back a bunch more. And now that I know how to prepare it, then I'll make as much as I can into a powder, and then I'll low dose for months. Mm-hmm. Super low dose. Yeah.
I did 2 months of low dosing.
Yeah. How was it?
Oh, that was awesome, epic.
Yeah.
I actually think it was a combination of the coca leaves and the San Pedro that I ordered from Peru to Thailand, where I was living at that time, and I did coca leaves and San Pedro for 2 months every day, and that totally made me decide to want to move to South America. So I think the plants were calling me.
How would you describe the low dosing? Is it sort of like you feel a connection or a presence, or you're just sort of in a good mood, or how would you describe the experience over the 2 month period?
It's just if you really low dose it, like microdosing, then I just feel heightened awareness at all times. I'm more conscious when I'm talking to people. When drama happens, like shit happens in life, you don't get bothered with it because you're just smiling at it. You're conscious, so it dismantles all that stuff. You also see through everything, so you don't have time for bullshit, and you cannot really waste your time with the. Like for example, it's very hard for you to sit in a bank for 4 hours trying to get something done.
Jesus, that's hard to do even when you're unconscious. I can imagine.
Yeah. So, sitting in a place where everybody believes in that system in there, that can be challenging. So, I did it for 2 months, and I was happy with the experience, but I was also happy to stop. Like I could feel, okay, it's time to stop and integrate. So it was great. I enjoyed it very much. I'm personally a big fan of microdosing because I've done the big heroic dosages. I've done those many times in my life, and now I'm kind of done with that. So, but I'm not done with the plants all the time for the rest of my life, and so I would like to do periods of time. Like for example, right now I'm microdosing on Syrian rue, which is maybe the most profound thing I've ever done of microdosing. It's really beautiful, profound. I'm actually writing an article about it right now. But San Pedro is definitely also a really, really beautiful experience. I highly recommend it. But so if you make that powder and you make it really, really strong powder, you just take a teaspoon in the morning, and that's it. It lasts the whole day.
A teaspoon would be way too much. Are you kidding? Even when I did my strong trip with Chris, it was like a heaping teaspoon. So a teaspoon would still be like half a trip. I'm talking...
Wasn't it a heaping tablespoon?
No.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Really? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well.
So it should be literally like, a little tiny bit. Like the tip of a spoon. Maybe tip of a teaspoon.
Yeah. Maybe my powder wasn't as strong as Chris's.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. That put me on another planet. One heaping teaspoon put me on. I mean, Jesus. I was like, I could jump off this mountain right now and it would be totally fine because I'm everything. It was that level of oneness. So I ain't taking that in the morning and just going on about my day. Jesus Christ.
Well, why not?
Like that.
You might see that your day will be a little different than normal.
It certainly would be. But some guy here was just saying, he just takes it raw and just cuts this tiny piece and just eats it right off eats it right off the thing, fresh.
Oh, that's
Like
another way of
corn
doing
on the cob, just.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he was saying the more pure the better. He didn't even like the idea that I put it in the fridge overnight and then blended it up. He's just like, nothing. Eat it off the fucking plant raw. He said that's the best.
Yeah.
Microdosing, a little bit right off the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
I totally agree with that. I think that's awesome. Do that. Because you're eating the spirit of the cactus. And the more alive it is, the better.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So I'm going to try that because I've heard such amazing things also. Jesse, who you spoke to briefly on Skype, remember my friend?
Yeah,
We were getting
I
all
do.
lovey-lovey.
Yeah,
He
nice guy.
says a bunch of his friends, and I think he also tried a little bit, microdosing LSD. And they were saying it's fucking amazing. Like they take like 1/10, 1/10 of one dose. And he says just more creativity, more energy, more focus. You can work. He said it's fucking. He looked at me. He's like, dude, you should try it. It's really awesome. And I was like, cool. So it seems like a pattern I'm noticing that microdosing is way safer, right? You're not going to ever fucking go crazy or have a really bad time taking such a small amount. But it looks like the benefits are really profound, especially over time.
The difference is that there's two very different ways of working with a plant. Personally, I'm not so much into anything made in a lab like LSD or MDMA and stuff like that, because the plants, they have a spirit. And so some would maybe claim LSD has a spirit, but I done LSD and I don't see any. But this is just me. But anyway, there's two ways of working on yourself when it comes to these compounds. One is to take a big dive and go through death process and catharsis and all that stuff. And then you come out of it. And most of these plants, they're basically going to give you will be changed. But 6 months down the road, you're different, but not that different. It's making changes, but not necessarily huge changes. And that's what I'm seeing in there. I'm talking in general. There's always people who just take ayahuasca one time and they're completely changed. But those cases are very rare. And then there's the other way where it's like, if you look at it on your own spiritual path and your own spiritual evolution, unfortunately, the way I see it is, it takes time. It's a process. It takes time. So, you have your spiritual practice, you read your spiritual books, you have conscious communications, you meet new people who inspire you, you have insights, you start realizing certain things. All that stuff happens over time, right? You also maybe change your habits and you become more healthy or whatever it is. All these things are having an influence on you, and this take time. So when I meet people and they have changed, it's always at least over a period of time. And when it comes to the plant medicines, I kind of can appreciate the idea of microdosing, because then you're in the company of this spirit, and he or she is guiding you and with you this for months, maybe for a whole year, who knows. There's people microdosing for a long time, and that spirit starts to become a part of you. It's a teacher, it's a guru, it's a guide, whatever you want to call it. And so and the cool thing is that when we are in situations in life where we really fuck things up, where we are triggered and all that stuff, those are the moments we actually need the highest teaching, right? Those are the moments, it would be awesome if you could get triggered like that on a heavy journey, right? So you can really process your shit. But usually when you're on a heavy journey, you're actually in a safe environment, everything's fine, and all people are taking care of you and all these things, whatever. You're not really sitting in a bank, for example, or paying your taxes or having an argument with your wife or whatever it is you're doing. But if you microdose, you're actually having those experiences while you're having this plant inside of you, expressing itself and its teachings. And for me, I see value in that. And also, when it comes to changing patterns and habits in people, I think they say it's like 21 days to create a new habit. And if you're on a plant and it guides you to change certain things, and it does that for more than 21 days, by the time you stop microdosing, it's not really that hard to continue. because it's already built in your neural programming, your patterns, and all that stuff. So there's value in microdosing. The flip side of the coin with microdosing is you don't really unlock the full potential of the power of the plant. I can tell you, for example, ibogaine is a very, very intense plant. But people who take a very low dose of it, they kind of do this because they're a little scared, because they heard how strong it is. They take a low dose, and they get kind of a sneak peek. And he really wants to do things with you, but he can't because you haven't given him enough power, meaning the dose is not high enough. So he can't really do what he came to do and what he was made to do. He's born to do certain things for you, and he needs to have a certain level of access to you to be able to do these things. So it's kind of like it's like you have a poisonous snake and you pull out its teeth, and then you think you know what it is, but you don't really know, because now it's not deadly and there's nothing it can do really. So you don't get the whole picture, don't get the whole truth, and it's because you're kind of too careful, right? So I met a lot of people who wanted to microdose ibogaine, and I tried to look behind the motivation for that, and it was always based on fear. And if you have that fear, you just shouldn't take ibogaine. But once you have conquered that fear and you feel you're ready, you should go in and say properly hello. And then after that, now that you have done that and you got properly introduced, yeah, you can do some microdosing after that, and continue the journey. And that's kind of where I'm at with the plants. And I know there's a lot of other people having different opinions, and that's totally fine. But that's what I'm feeling with so some of the plants, like I would never microdose something that I haven't done strong dose. That's just me. That's how I feel, because I want to know 100% what I'm dealing with, and I also want to show that I'm willing to sacrifice myself and my control to this plant. And then after I've done that, I'm kind of like, okay, should we do this dance together on a daily basis for a couple of months? And it's kind of like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do it. So for you, in your case, if you talk about microdosing, I'm like, yeah, I think it's a great idea. If you came 2 years ago when you never done San Pedro and asked me about microdosing, I would have told you, why don't you just do a real dose first, and then think about it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. It really resonates. So yeah, well, I'm on the San Pedro, experience download, so I'm going to do that for a while and see where it takes me.
Yeah, and I would say having this death experience that you talk about, that's a great gift. It's a beautiful gift you get from a plant, So there's a cactus here growing in the mountains who actually gave you that experience, that gift. And as traumatic as it was, maybe in the process, it's a great gift, because it gives you become a little more loosened up in the attachments. A little more loosened up, and next time a little more, and a little more, and a little more, and everything is just a little more, and at one point there's no attachment, and then you're really free. So these plants are great teachers. I don't think it's for everybody. I actually think for most people it's not a good idea, because they need to just meditate, do breath work, and trance dance, or whatever it is they need to do. But for some people, these plants, these tools, these entheogens can be very powerful teachers and guides. And I'm so grateful for the fact that they exist here on this planet. I think it's beautiful. It's awesome. They are definitely a gift to humanity.
Yeah, getting back to, you said something interesting before, which was that, I was saying certain things about oneness and everything, but then again using certain language that's separating. And I guess that's, and I wanted to sort of touch on that because it's, I see that. And I think that's, again, the duality that's inherent in having a human body, mm-hmm. and having an ego.
Yeah.
Which everyone has a human body, everyone has an ego. And so we're used to, we come into this world totally coming from that ego, human perspective.
When we were first born, we didn't.
Okay, sure.
But we built it up.
Yeah. So let's say, generally speaking, most adult humans, we come from that place, and then as we do the self work, whether it be plants or meditation or breath work or whatever, anything, when it comes to really self realization, then we start seeing the duality, the other part of it, which is actually, wait a minute, we're all one, we're all connected. And so I think everything is always a balance of like living in both worlds, right? Until you get to 99.99% enlightened, where you pop and you're still in the body.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a balance.
Absolutely.
Of those things.
And absolutely. The thing is, if you really look at language, what language is, like just the sentence I just said, if you really look at, and so that, you see, if you really look at, that's a sense of self, right? So there's already now identity involved in everything that is spoken, and so we are catching identity in words all the time. The language is designed to keep you inside the illusion of the sense of self. There is no language that make you sound like you are a God-realized being. There's no designed language in that sense. So when you meet a God-realized being, they use that language of the self that everybody uses to be able to speak to them and make them understand. But you can feel when they talk that the sense of self is gone. It disappears. And there's also a tendency when you hear people speaking from that state, that there is much less me and I am and all that stuff, comparisons and all. There's a lot of tendencies that so when we speak, for example, when I talk, it is a complete exposure of what is going on within me. Like I'm totally exposing the insides of me by speaking words, because the words that's coming out of my mouth is going to transmit in one way or the other the state of consciousness that I'm in. And so despite the fact that there's a saying, many ignorant people may speak the same words, but they all mean different. Many enlightened beings may speak different words, but they all mean the same. And so for me, that's a very, very big statement. And that means you can find somebody who says simple words that everybody says, but has a profound effect. And you can find people who are completely mental saying profound words and have zero effect, because it's not coming from a direct experience. And so it is. For me, what I'm doing is I'm developing this skill of when I'm listening to people talking about spirituality and stuff like that. I'm just tuning in and feeling how much is spacious coming from them, and how much is like there's a sender ego trip, like a contraction story going on. And then I learned how to recognize the difference. So, for example, when I'm listening to Sri Ravi Shankar from Art of Living, when he's talking knowledge tapes and points and stuff like that, or Adyashanti or Mojaji, then I can hear. For example, I've seen satsangs with Adyashanti where it looks totally like the guy is tripping on his ego. I mean, he's talking ego language totally, but you can see that there's no one there. He's just using this as a tool to get to the point of something with this woman or man sitting in front of him, and so you can feel that it doesn't hold on anywhere. It doesn't stick anywhere. It doesn't stick. Where I've seen people sounding super fucking enlightened, and yet something is wrong. There's something like like they got the whole thing down. So this is a tendency we see in the world today, which is the mental enlightened people, intellectually enlightened people, and they are philosophers, and they can battle you in any conversation, and they will justify and make everything look rosy and pink and super elevated, and yet you walk away from there feeling something's missing, and there's the feeling of emptiness in a negative way, not in a spacious, heartfelt emptiness, which is beautiful. Here's the real kicker on all this. Here's the real fucking kicker. I can sit down with pretty much anyone who is slightly interested in spirituality and watch the same movie or YouTube clip or whatever, or sit in front of the same person live, and they will have the exact same experience. They will have the same experience as I do. So this filter that I'm having, it's nothing unique, and I've always had it, and you always had it, and a lot of people have it. And so what is it in us that makes us able to recognize when the truth is spoken and when it's not spoken, despite the same words are being used? What is it in us that can recognize that? And that's the part of you that is awake. And that's the part of you that you need to focus on, because that's the essence of who you are, the essence that knows it all already before it's even said to you. There's no news being spoken, there's no revelations, it's just a fucking reminder. That's all it is. So we are all awake, but we are looking for that essence in ourselves, in other people. And when we see it in other people, we recognize it and say, oh yeah, that guy is enlightened. That woman is enlightened. Well, how do you know? Oh, because I'm enlightened myself. There's a part of me that is awake enough to see who is awake. And so we all have it.
So you're saying fantastic point. You're basically saying unconsciousness cannot see consciousness.
No, I don't think unconsciousness recognizes anything but itself. Even if I don't even know if it recognizes itself. Now we're playing with words, but I would say.
But definitely, you're saying
that sounds true.
Only consciousness can see consciousness.
Yeah, but everything is consciousness. But
even unconsciousness.
Yes. Well, what is it's the same as, because it's words. It's ping pong duality we're using right now, right? So when you're saying unconsciousness, what I'm saying is even unconsciousness is consciousness, but it's just sleeping. It's in a dormant state, but it's consciousness. And if you look deep enough inside that, there is an awakened spirit and essence in that too. Even a rock is enlightened. Like everything is awake. But it's maybe very, very deep asleep in this moment. But its essence is awakeness. It cannot be anything else but awakeness. And there's a good example of this. If you walk into a huge room in the middle of the night where hundreds of children are sleeping in sleeping bags, they're on some kind of a workshop or retreat or something, and they're all sleeping there. And you call out a name, let's just say John. John, are you here? John, are you here? Are you sleeping in here, John? John, wake up, John. All the children keep on sleeping except John. John wakes up. Why is John waking up and none of the other children? I mean, all of them are unconscious, right? They're all unconscious. They're all asleep. Nobody knows anything. When you're sleeping, you don't know who you are, right? You have no idea who you are. The body's just sleeping, and you're out having a ball in cosmos with your dreams and realities and all that stuff. But you wake up if you're being called. Okay, so there's even a deep sleep state. There's a part of you that is conscious, and that's the part of you that recognizes when you hear the truth. So that's it. It's very simple. So basically, that's why it's called realization. It's just a realization. Just realize. See, of course you can say, oh, I realized it, now I'm enlightened. Well, okay, but it has to be a direct experience at all times, 24/7. You have to live it. You have to express it. You have to, and it's not just pretend. It's as a direct experience of oneness, of awakenedness. When you have that direct experience, yeah, that's it. But then at that point, you're not so busy telling people. You just chill about it because it's totally awesome and it's just natural. as natural as the wind blows and the plants are growing and the sun is rising and, you know, the birds are singing. It's just a natural process.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what it means then is everyone is enlightened sometimes.
Absolutely. Everybody has a moment of what in Japan they call satori. A satori is like, I get it. I see it. And then you become super conscious of yourself and everything else, including the people sitting with you. And you see the unity and oneness of everything. And you're like, wow, it's all me. I'm all alone with myself everywhere. Wow. And then 5 minutes after somebody says, hey, dude, can you pay the bill? And you're going to be like, fuck that. I paid last time, so can you please? And now you forgot, right? It's okay. I mean, it's no blaming. There's no accusations. There's no regret and judgments and all that stuff. It's just what it is, man. People are moving through life like that. And the only thing, the whole game is all about just increasing the gaps. Increasing the gaps where you are in that space. And you just consciously move more and more, and you invite yourself to what Adyashanti talks about is to become accident prone. And so, like if you play with your toys on the highway, you're more accident prone to be hit by a car than if you're playing, in a forest. And so you make yourself accident prone. You increase the gaps of this non-dual consciousness. And then when you go into duality and the story, you just, as quickly as you can, when you become conscious of it, that I'm in the middle of a drama right now, and it's me and the world and drama. I'm making a story right now. Okay, the mind just took over again. The mind is telling a story, and I bought into it, and now I'm on a fucking ride, right? Mm. And then it's just, it happened again. Okay, cool. Just check out. And then laugh at yourself. And laugh at everything and all, because that's all you can do, because it's fucking hilarious. And then you just do all that. And no judgment, no regrets. No judgments, no regrets. And stop measuring yourself and saying, I'm more enlightened, I'm less enlightened, I'm this and that. Fuck that. Doesn't matter. What matters is, are you happy? Just chill and just stay natural. Stay natural with everything. Just be in the flow and relax. It's okay. And the thing is, look how we've been brought up, all of us, and how we've been indoctrinated by so-called teachers and authorities, and being told one lie after another. So no fucking wonder we are a little confused, and no fucking wonder we have a tendency to lean towards ego trip. We all are damaged. We are all so imagine if you grew up in a society that actually promoted spirituality and consciousness and meditation and healthy living and real education, not this crap that we call education, and enhanced creativity, expressions, artistic expressions, all that stuff, and everybody's just conscious around you. As when you grow up, people are just conscious and they show and they have compassion and smiling and all that stuff. Imagine you grew up in a place like that. It wouldn't be that fucking hard for you to stay in the unity consciousness, because it's your natural state. The true miracle is not enlightenment. The true miracle is to run around thinking you are not, and make a fucking hypnotic state 24/7, running around stressing yourself out until the day you fucking die, telling yourself you're separate from the creator, the almighty creator. How can you be separate from anything? I mean, it's completely fucking retarded. It's retarded. So, it takes a huge machinery and a lot of effort to convince a whole population on a whole planet about the most obvious shit, right? So,
yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was blown away. I really just had a moment where I just sat down and I thought, how much work has been put in over the last few hundred years to get the consciousness to where it's at now? And I was like, that's a lot of... Someone is working their fucking asses off 24/7.
Absolutely.
I mean, holy
Maintaining that machinery.
shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It would just... I mean, you are committed.
Yeah.
And you got to give that respect.
Yeah.
Like, wow. These
all-
folks
they-
are
they
working,
almost-
man.
they
They are not
almost-
lazy people. These are
They
really...
almost deserve to enslave us.
Oh,
Almost.
my God.
Almost.
Dude. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But you gotta ask yourself, why are they willing to go through so much effort to do what they're doing? Well, it must be because
I'd like to know.
there's a deep fucking secret here, and it must be because we can change the universe. We have the power of imagination. We have the power of dreams, and so we are the creators. And so, if you can control God and make God think that He's not God, you have the power of God, even though you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So the control, the reason why they are willing to go through such a long-term plan with so much effort, is because we have way more power than we have ever been told and can even imagine today. And that's the only reason. So it's actually good news that there's somebody out there who are so freaked out about us, so scared, and who really, really so much want what we have, to such a degree they're willing to do so much work on a planetary scale throughout millennia, to such a degree, to just control us, to make us think that we are nobody and just victims of our own circumstances and whatever the belief systems we are being given.
It really begs the question, though, maybe this is another podcast, but why go through all that work? Because surely those people trying to suppress our godliness know that they themselves are also God. So why not just be happy in that? Why control? Why I don't. I guess what I'm asking is, why does evil exist? Why is it, or why is it even necessary?
Well, there's service for self and service for others. And when you're at service for yourself, you want others to be at service for you. And so when you can have powerful beings to be at service for you, you are feeling great about that. So they're feeding on our negativity, they're feeding on our victimhood and suffering, basically. And is it evil? Well, if you go in an enlightened perspective, there's no such thing as good and bad and evil and not evil, stuff like that. It's just duality. It's just what it is. So we're creating this illusion of duality, but they are us too, right? All those beings, they're us too. So that's another part that most people just really totally don't embrace, which is that whole satanic Illuminati worship, child sacrificing, pedophile reality. Those beings are actually part of us as well, and we're actually here to wake them up and bring them into the light if they want to, and if they don't, so be it. But I know where I'm going, and they're welcome to follow if they can. It's just how it is. So, but it's a matter of preference, and that actually brought me to also. I remember I had this download on extraterrestrials and stuff like that, and some people saying, "Oh, those are the bad ETs, and those are the good ETs," and I was like, "Wait a minute, isn't it just our opinion about what we think they are, like good and bad? We think the ones that are bad are those who are hurting us, and the ones that are good are those who are helping us, right? Okay, but what about us? If we go out in space, we travel to space, we start, landing on other planets that are maybe less evolved than we are at that time." And let's say we come and tell them, hey, all your religions are not true, and now you need to follow this because this is cosmic reality and blah, blah. And by the way, can we take some of your water, or can you do this for us or that for us, and we give you some technology and blah, blah. And let's just say what we did is actually hurting the planet a little bit, and they're not totally happy. Are we the good ETs or the bad ETs? And so we may, and what is it the saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So even if you come with the best intentions, you may be, looked upon as someone who is not a good guy. And so this has happened many times. So this thing with good and bad it's just a matter of opinion and judgments, and that goes down the drain too. Because if you want to talk about oneness, you can't talk about good and bad. Oneness is oneness. It's all one, right? It's all the same. So if I have a garden and suddenly all these insects come and eat all my plants, are they bad insects? Well, for me they are, but the insects are having a good time. And maybe God thinks the insects are so good that they need all this food so they can multiply. I mean, it's a matter of opinion.
It's funny. I told Elizabeth about the pictures and just that there's tons of aliens down here where we are, going in and out of mountains, and everyone sees them, and there's shit tons of ships.
Yeah, the UFOs.
And she's just like, yeah, it's probably just U.S. government ships. I'm like, not this many, not thousands. She's like, yeah, they have. That's what they want you. That's what they want you to think, that there's aliens, but it's all fucking there. They've had it since the 40s. So she's totally skewed in that. It's all just government fucking UFOs. I don't think that. There's no way for us really to say for sure.
No, but I would say. From what I know, the metallic ones, the ones that are physical, third-dimensional, those are definitely potentially ours, most likely. The plasma ships that are pure light, pure plasma, I guess they could make some holographic projections and create that. But I'm having a hard time believing that all of that is not real, not real plasma beings. I think there's definitely something going on with that.
We'll have a separate podcast just about UFOs at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, we got into my San Pedro trip. We talked about microdosing, oneness, perspective, bit of enlightenment. That was good. That's been an hour, bro. That was a good one.
Was that 1 hour?
That was an hour, 57 minutes right there. Yeah, it goes by like this, dude. So I guess, what's our conclusion?
To this?
Yeah.
Do there have to be a conclusion? Okay, yeah.
Not really, but it's nice to have one.
I'm not good at beginnings and endings. Conclusion. I think maybe it will be good to do some conclusions about using psychedelics with responsibility and stuff like that. Yeah? Or what?
Sure.
Or what? What do you have in your mind?
Just, if you're thinking of doing any type of psychedelics, I would say your first time, go find a shaman who's amazing and do your research. And I would definitely say do that at least once so you have that type of experience. And if you agree with the plant and you feel it's your friend, then it has stuff to teach you, then maybe continue working with a shaman or go on the microdosing journey or whatever. But don't just get a bunch and fucking do it yourself, because that can be really intense.
Yeah, and as they say, psychedelics don't really have any side effects except suicide. So I remember reading that on Wikipedia, and I was just like, fuck, that's so true. So there's people who are having a bad trip and they just never get out of it, and they end up killing themselves or in a mental hospital and stuff like that. It's very rare, but it happens. And so it's a good idea to have someone near you that you trust, who can just, look over what's going on with you. And so that's one thing I would say. The other thing I would say is learn to create sacred space. Sacred space is something we have forgotten here in the West. And so turn on some candlelights, chant some mantras, or make a prayer, write down your intentions, just do your own ritual in your own way. Whatever you're into, whatever you feel is you're attracted to regarding the divine, and show some gratitude. And just know whatever you're ingesting of these plant teachers, they know you better than you know yourself. And they're here to teach you something. So have a level of gratitude when you enter this process, and just don't expect to it's all done in one go. It's not, for most people it's not what happens. For most people it's a process, it's a journey, and it's okay, and just remember why you're doing it. and do not do it for recreational purposes. This is work. You're here to work, and it's hard work, and that's why you're here, and that's why you do it. So take it easy and go in with the right mindset, I would say.
Yeah, mindset and clear intention.
Yeah.
Yep, wise words indeed. Wise words indeed. All right, folks, that's been another Woke as Fuck podcast. We'll see you in the next one.